How to influence others to take action. Your first job as a leader should be to motivate your team and get them to work as well as possible. If you can't accomplish that much, then you'll find that your office is not productive and that you end up going nowhere fast. Fortunately, a lot of research has been done into the nature of motivation, particularly in the office, and it sheds useful light on how we should go about motivating workers to get the most out of them. By listening to this presentation, you'll learn precisely what you need to do in order to motivate your team to work their very best. Carrot or stick? The old question here was always carrot or stick, but it turns out that the correct answer is, in fact, neither. When getting someone to perform unchallenging and repetitive labor, like filing envelopes, the carrot and stick approach has been shown to work well. However, countless studies have shown that when you want your team to work creatively and use their intuition, the exact opposite is actually true. Gamification, incentivizing, or threatening will all create a kind of tunnel vision in staff that can actually stifle innovation and creativity, as well as reducing their enjoyment of the work they do. So what do you do to motivate your staff? It turns out that the best way to get your staff to work well is to make them feel invested in their work. Give them some kind of ownership over what they produce. Give them the freedom to add their own ideas and solutions. And you will find that your staff end up working harder as of their own accord. This is why the free time at Google is so successful. This gives employees the chance to work on projects that they are interested in, and often it yields the best results. Likewise, when you take an existing task that needs completing, and you give someone the control and freedom they need to decide how that work gets done, you'll find you instantly increase their emotional investment in the task. Instead of controlling every action a person takes, you are giving them ownership of a project or a department. Now it is in their best interest to be productive, and they can decide how they want to go about achieving those goals, which is far more creatively rewarding. How to speak so others will listen. As a leader, one of your first challenges is to learn to command attention, to speak so that others will listen. After all, how can you instruct your team and get the best out of them if they won't listen to what you have to say in the first place? In this presentation, we'll discuss how to command attention and respect as a communicator and a leader. Believe in what you're saying. The number one thing that makes someone appear more charismatic is passion. If you genuinely believe in what you're saying, this will light up your entire face and body. You will speak not only with your mouth, but also your gestures and your eyes. When you do this, you convey that what you are saying is important and exciting, and you instantly command attention. Try to tap into the emotion behind what you are saying. Why is this important? Why are you excited? Anxious? Angry? Another way to do this is to relate the story to something that matters to you or your team personally. In other words, take a narrative structure and weave a story. Speak less. Of course, you can't always channel this kind of emotion. If what you're saying isn't that important, then you won't be able to sell it as though it is. So what's the answer? Simple. Don't say it. Talk a little less, and you'll find that the times you do speak up are the ones that are far more important. By doing this, you will create a situation in which people want to listen to you, in which they want to know what you have to say. Use pauses. Likewise, when speaking, you shouldn't be afraid to use long pauses and moments of silence. These silences help to add a dynamic flow to what you are saying, and they encourage your audience to really listen to what you are saying. Being quiet can be a great way to build suspense and interest when telling a story, and it can be a great way to demonstrate confidence. Most of us are too afraid to be silent, as we think we'll lose our audience. Therefore, if you have the confidence to stand at the front of the office and not say anything, your staff will know that you aren't desperately trying to seek approval. Suddenly, what you have to say gains that much more importance and gravitas. How to stop blaming others and take ownership of your actions. The worst kind of leader is the leader who doesn't take responsibility. After all, being a leader is all about taking responsibility. Unfortunately, this is something that many people still don't understand, and as such, they end up making their office less productive and a more stressful place to be. In this presentation, we'll look at how to flip this on its head and to become the fearless leader your team needs you to be. the blame game. The manager's job very often is to make sure that their team are meeting specific targets at given points in time. This is a way that they can demonstrate the effectiveness of their work and that their efforts can be measured. But what happens when they don't reach those targets? Bad leaders will now turn on their staff and actively blame them for being ineffective. They do this in order to save face and to avoid getting in trouble with their superiors and generally pass the buck. But it also happens to be the number one way to instantly reduce the productivity of your team. Why? Firstly, it means that your team now feels stressed knowing that they might get it in the neck for their work. The result is that they won't take as many creative risks, and they generally won't do their best work. They'll likely also feel resentful that their work has gone this way. The other issue is that it makes you seem like a weaker leader. After all, if you can't take responsibility when things go badly, you also should get no credit when things go well. So what are you doing? Your job is to then simply suck it up and to take the flak when things go wrong. Recognize that this is your team, and if they aren't working to the best of their ability, then that is on you. Decisions. The other sign of someone who likes to shrink responsibility is that they refuse to make decisions. As soon as you make a decision, you take full responsibility and you commit to a certain path of action. By avoiding making decisions, you can avoid taking this responsibility, but you also prevent your team from doing anything effective or useful. Take the responsibility, make the call, and take action. This can take a while to get used to, but it's simply a matter of changing your thinking. Your job is to be the person who makes the call and takes the flak.